If Game of Thrones took over the early 2010s, Succession arguably led the later half of the decade and the lockdown era. This makes one thing clear: there is a massive audience for dramas involving family politics and scheming. This is perhaps no surprise as to why Netflix Italy have decided on a remake of the classic Visconti movie The Leopard, which is based on an equally classic Italian novel sporting the same name. The Leopard has the politics, the scheming, the romance, and more as it adapts to the 21st century sensibilities. This miniseries encompasses all the events of the novel Il Gattopardo by Giuseppe Tomasi di Lampedusa and stars Kim Rossi Stewart, Benedetta Porcaroli, Deva Cassell and Francesco Colella, and is directed by the critically acclaimed Tom Shankland. Season 1 is set during the final stages of the reunification of Italy, with General Garibaldi declaring war on Sicily. The northern Sicilian kingdom is ruled by the Salinas, who struggle to come to terms with reality. The patriarch, Prince Fabrizio, aka the Leopard, believes they are untouchable. However, his own nephew, Tancredi, has joined the rebels who are in favour of a united Italy, while his daughter, Concetta, is infatuated with her charming cousin. There is further turmoil in the Salina home though, as Fabrizio's heir, Paolo, disapproves of Tancredi while his wife Stella is in the dark about his affairs. As the war rages on, Fabrizio is conflicted as he does his best to ensure Tancredi doesn't get into actual trouble, while his nephew loathes his royal advantage. The very first scene itself is a stylized introduction to the political period drama. Meanwhile, hymns and operatic soundtrack set the tone for a grand and bittersweet story. Gorgeous lighting encompasses all of this, alongside cinematography that peppers the screen, from the glowing fires during the riots to a dusty village turning into a romantic setting. Even during the night shots, these are full of action, where streetlights play with light and shadow, making the characters look ethereal. If there's one thing Italian period dramas know, it's creating a long gone world straight out of paintings by Pether and Lorraine. From the set designing and grand costumes to lighting and music, The Leopard is an indisputable immersive experience. Even if political dramas aren't quite your cup of tea, no matter the aesthetic, the narrative and characterization will definitely reel you in. The writers may be banking on the star-crossed lovers' situation between Tancredi and Concetta, but Kim Rossi Stewart's Fabrizio absolutely steals the spotlight. Changes in Sicily's old world values and traditions have the Leopard fumbling in the dark, which almost borders on dark humour. He's constantly stunned speechless by the numerous culture shocks, courtesy of his brash nephew and his meek daughter, who does seem to have inherited his claws. But when Fabrizio is in his element, he commands the stage, manipulating and scheming to ensure that his family comes out unscathed from the war. Vultures soon start circling him though, as he tries to maintain the status quo, which he knows will soon change with the end of Sicily's monarchy. This perseverance in the face of hopelessness makes for a larger-than-life anti-hero for whom you'll probably end up rooting for. Combined with an episodic narrative, each episode is bound to renew interest, as Season 1 charts the different eras of Fabrizio's life during the reunification and civil war. Where one may focus on his nephew's rebellious phase, the next brings in a seductive new player that tempts our already established characters. A crisp pace here is the final cherry on top, as there's never a dull moment. The action is constantly moving, whether it's the war or ballroom politics, giving everything a kinetic energy that's easy to get wrapped up in. While the different storylines flesh out the major characters and their relation to the overarching plot, it would have been nice to see Tancredi and that seductive player we mentioned before have a larger role to play in the finale. Sure, each character gets their own chapter, but unfortunately afterwards they're kinda just relegated to the background. But with Tancredi and she who should not be named constantly ruffling feathers in every episode, the finale could have packed a much bigger punch had they not been so passive. Instead, The Leopard prefers to end on a bittersweet and somber note, with complete focus on Fabrizio and Concetta instead. While realistic, it is a tad bit underwhelming after such electric chapters building up to this moment. Overall though, this is a solid period drama. It may not be anywhere near as crackling as the previous dramas I mentioned earlier on, i.e. Game of Thrones or Succession, but this is still a solid watch, making for an easy recommendation to add to your watch list. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.